So everybody, we're here. We're live. Brand new late night Sunday night impromptu poker night podcast, poker life podcast. My name's Joe Ingram, K Chicago Joey. So you guys know I had a prop bet about doing 2 podcasts a week and doing some Sunday night podcast with my young girl, aka kind of my age girl, Sasha, who I've had on the past couple Sunday nights, aka PLO Boss, aka PLO Beast, aka Wisdom Monster, aka. And I was planning to do another one with her tonight, and we were going to kind of talk about what she's been up to, her past play this week. But I decided that we're not going to have her on tonight because it's kind of something she might upset me for me talking more about this, but she might make like a brief appearance tonight. But yeah, kind of she was just kind of talking about we're discussing some of the comments people say, and as you guys know, I think I sometimes forget this that when you put yourself out there on the internet, obviously you deal with a lot of comments from people. You deal with a lot of negative comments, you deal with a lot of positive comments, most of the time, mainly positive more than negative. But I sometimes forget that for certain people out there who are more private individuals, where people like to keep it to themselves, where people that don't really want to put their lives out there on display, so we could argue that I put myself out there on display, yes, to some extent, but I mean, not really. Y'all don't really know what's going on with me for the most part. So I don't really think I do. But like, you get a lot of comments in here, and for me, I don't really give a fuck for the most part. Like I get a lot of love. I get a couple comments in there, like you suck or you're a piece of shit or well, fuck what. I mean, not really that, but they say some things or you're a fucking idiot. I get comments like that. So I'm used to that. I'm used to just dealing with that. But I think that when other people out there, whether it's men or women, or when it's somebody like Sasha or even some other guests I've had on, I think when they come on and they see some of the comments that are most of the times positive, but then sometimes you see the negative comments, to me, I see that I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. Like you sort of have the positive, have the negatives. But I think for a lot of other people out there, they react to these things differently. They only see that negative comment. And I think a lot of people just don't really want to deal with things like that. And I didn't really know that it bothered Sasha until we started talking about doing something tonight and kind of having back on the show. And, she used a couple words just incorrectly last week when she came out. We were talking about spots and she like got some messages from people that were negative. I'm just like, what the fuck are these fucking people doing out there, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are people sending messages like that? Like, why? I don't know. It's something that, I don't know. I just don't really want to kind of have her on again right now and sort of put her through that and leave the situation open where she might look a certain type of way or something like that. And then these people might say negative things to her in the messages or at the poker table or anything like that. So I just decided tonight, I'll have her make a brief appearance in here for a little bit, but we're going to ride this one of those solo guys. One of the first times I've really ever done this, but not completely solo because we are going to have a guest on. She just won't be on for long tonight. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk a little bit more about that. And, I don't know, man, it's something, I just goes over my head a lot. I think we read a lot of comments out there. And I think it's just in general, anytime you do something like that on the internet, of course, you're going to get a lot of comments, most of the times positive, but sometimes negative. And in theory, you're supposed to say, deal with it, let it roll off your tongue or whatever, just like take it in line. But I would challenge a lot of people out there who think they're some badass motherfuckers who are the most tough-skinned people of all time, who don't let words affect them. I challenge them to come let some people say things to you. And especially when you start putting yourself out there, and then when you put yourself out there, people then that are watching that just like take the part that you put out there, find the part you fucked up on saying because you're not perfect, and then sort of attack you for that. And then if you have any sort of self-esteem things or self-confidence things about the things that you're going on in your mind when you're talking about it, now it starts picking at you like, oh, maybe I do something fucking neat. Maybe I am this. Maybe I am that. So for the most part, like I just let this, it's not something I ever really think about much myself. So it's not something I have to consider when I have other people on my content, stuff like that. But I mean, I've heard of some guys before in the past, and they just don't want to come on because they don't really want to deal with a bunch of stuff out there. So I do have a couple subjects I want to talk about today, guys. Phil Galfond made an announcement for HUDless poker on Run It Once Poker. I'm going to talk more about why I very much currently at the moment dislike. I really, I played a lot of anonymous poker on Ignition Bovada. I've won a lot of money on the site. I probably played more than 99% of people in the entire world when it comes to anonymous poker. And Phil Galfond recently came out, talked about what he's doing with no HUDs, what he's going to try to do with a dynamic avatar system, which I really love. And then he also mentioned that it would be anonymous games at low stakes. And then I'm assuming he's going to have actual names for people at high stakes. And I'm going to talk more about that and kind of talk more about where the poker world sits right now in 2018, because I kind of look around, man, and you know, I mean, for the most part, guys, like I recognize it, but I don't really recognize it as sort of my poker world in a lot of ways, you know, like where I came from in poker world. And I don't know, it's just something I've really been thinking about a lot nonstop these past couple months. And you guys know when I get talking, man, all this kind of crazy shit starts coming out. So yeah, man, Joe Watson out there in chat says we need 0 more reservations to make GTO's Way of Life come back, according to Teespring. I think the tank tops are currently off sale right now. I'm putting some new merchandise out sometime in the future. But yeah, so let's talk about this Phil Goffine announcement. So if you guys didn't see it, it's on Phil Goffine's Twitter, or it's on his runatOnce.com site. We have to kind of find it. I would just go to Phil Goffine's Twitter or my Twitter. And yeah, so he said no HUDs because there's no way to detect them. And he talked a little bit about that. I really enjoyed it. The feedback on the forums. I mean, you got these crazy people, right? You got these people on the forums that so passionately say why this site is fucking gonna fail, why this site has no chance. I don't know where these guys get this passion from when they're writing these posts about why Run It Once Poker is going to fail for whatever reason. We don't even know anything about the site. These people are just like, the site's going to fucking fail. This is why regulars are going to hate it. Recs are going to hate it. This isn't what poker's about. It's just like, man, these fucking people, dude, it's crazy. It's like really draining having to read these fucking people. These like, just seem like some, you know, we got some smart educated takes in there, but most part, it seems like you're reading a bunch of fucking donks out there kind of explaining with this just adamant passion for why it doesn't make sense to me at all. So, but I'm excited for the site. I'm not excited for the idea of anonymous poker, but I kind of want to talk more about it. Why? Because I'm not sure if I'm just being like, if I just can't quite shake this little shield around me when it comes to this specific topic. So the topic is I feel like there's something very special about a poker ecosystem, about you being able to see names of people you play, being able to rail the better players, being able to see how an overall ecosystem sort of works, how people go to new tables. And I just really enjoy the idea of knowing who the players are, or the regulars in the community, kind of seeing those names on their journey, watching the best players play, watching the bad players play with the good players, watching there's something about that sort of thing for me that's always made poker really special. You know, getting to play with these guys every single day, knowing who they are, battling with them constantly, getting to know them on the forums and on social media. Those are things for me that I always found really interesting from the outside looking up. And then once I got into that world, something that I really, really enjoyed and I thought made it extremely special. Now, with anonymous poker, when I've played anonymous poker, it just seems to me like the anonymous poker things, I mean, I don't know. I played a lot on Ignition, like I said, it's just so fucking boring. And to me, it's poker, but it's not actually, it's a different version of poker. It's sort of like Spin and Go is a different version of poker. So to me, anonymous poker is so much different because you can do certain things in anonymous that you can never do with the screen name, which does make you a bad poker player in some of these things. For instance, one thing is continuation betting. So when people know who you are, if you're continuation betting 95% of the time, the better players are going to start adjusting, and even the donks are going to recognize your name as the 95% C-better guy. Whereas when you go to the anonymous things, there's just one small thing. But now this idea of having to worry about over C-betting too much, it changes. The question changes. The question then becomes, all right, if I'm C-betting so often, right? If I can see about 95% and they're going to fold a large more of the time, but then I have a top of my range in the spot, am I better off checking back here because they're overfolding? Is there something I picked up on this person with 3 hands that might make me lean to wanting to bet? And I think that sort of these questions on here on these anonymous sites, when you start really thinking about them, when you start thinking about that question, you have to retrain your mind, because you're sort of training your mind one way. You're training your mind to want to see bet with certain frequencies or with certain parts of your range, depending on what your game plan is or what your style is. If you have a sort of a theoretical approach, if you're going from an exploitative approach where against bad players, you're going to be doing things differently. So you kind of have this question to yourself when it comes to you. Let's say you raise the button and the big blind calls, it gets to you on the button, and now it checks to you. you sort of have this process you learn over many, many years. So now you train yourself to be a certain way. Okay, I want to be balanced. I don't want to be c-betting too much. I want to be doing this. I want to protect my tendencies. I want to protect my ranges against these players, understanding what I have on the flop, and maybe I don't have enough strong hands when I check back, so therefore my turn range is a little bit fucked up. So you sort of like have to train yourself for all these things, and how your flop ranges build on your turn ranges, build on your river ranges, and build on your entire game plan as a whole. So now when you go to this anonymous poker, right? Now those ideas, you don't have to worry about those things for the most part ever. You're never gonna have to worry about those. You have to worry about them on very short sort of sample sizes where you might have 60 hands or 70 hands or something like that, which can be something to really, I guess, get something from that sort of data. It's very short, very small sample size, but still you can pick up small things from that potentially. But for the most part, you don't really have to worry about any of these deeper level sort of things. And a lot of your things now is becoming, well, then how can I sort of potentially, this is how I always looked at it. How can all right, I need to stop c-betting with certain hands, right? Okay, well, why am I stop c-betting with these hands? I'm basically building a strategy that's probably fucking terrible on any site where you have screen names. So I did notice that when I would go play other sites with screen names and then I would play on anonymous sites, I was doing very, very well and much better in terms of specific win rate on the Provide Ignition. I was also sort of in the zone and playing consistently through those times. But I just noticed that I just really noticed that sorry, I just got a text and now my mind sort of goes for I don't even know what the fuck this says, but yeah, no, my mind's thrown off. I forgot what I was saying. But basically what I'm saying is in the anonymous games, the way to have the best anonymous poker win rate is to build a game plan that is really not going to work for you if you build it at a high level on other sites. So for me, when I always looked at that, I just looked at it as a different game of poker entirely, like I said. And that's just one reason. There are many, many reasons for me that go into it. And now I guess you can sort of say, well, does that matter? Like, okay, is that enough that matters to then start to say, okay, should we have it be anonymous? So we have these factors that make anonymous, right? Okay, anonymous versus regular. This is this type of poker. This is this type of poker. Ultimately, it's poker. And to me, I do understand the reasons and merit for having an anonymous. Maybe it just can't work out. Whatever the definition of workout is going to be different for other people out there, but maybe it can't work out with screen names because of these bum hunting practices, because of HUDs, because of the data mining, because of those type of things. So I don't really know. Obviously, these people have looked into that, or Phil's, they've looked into this sorts of thing. But to me, when I see that, man, I didn't make me that excited. I'll be honest with you guys. Obviously, I'm excited for the site to exist and excited to see what happens with it. But for me, I'm not really looking to hop in there and kind of compete on an anonymous platform. And yeah, I mean, anytime you start working in the idea of streaming and stuff like that, now it just puts you at a very big disadvantage too. So if you are thinking about streaming some of the action on there, I mean, it's it's not going to be that it's going to be a very fucking bad idea for the most part. So yeah, kind of the idea of that. I'm still interested to see what happens still. They mentioned the dynamic avatars. So dynamic avatars, what it's going to be is, I guess, for each person at the table, they'll be able to sort of, okay, they can see, okay, you're a drunk person here. There's 7 different kinds allegedly or something like that. And I don't know. I think it's a cool idea. The dynamic avatar, a changing avatar. I think that the idea of improving the avatar to increase the player experience in the game or the viewer game, I think is very important. And I think it's something that other games do really well. If you look at Fortnite, they have your little character. You can customize all these different skins, and they don't give you any advantage in the game. You can make your trail bigger. You got a different outfit. You have a dance. You have like a spray. You have all these sorts of fucking things you can do in the game that don't actually impact your performance in the game. And now, could poker do something like that? Could it use some sort of customized avatar system? Could you potentially do a dance to celebrate? How would that make the viewing experience from someone watching it? How would that make it more fun when you're actually playing in the game? Ignition has these things where it rains down money, lightning comes down. So I would like to see elements like this that don't have any sort of impact on your poker playing and give you some sort of boost or whatever it's called in other games. I'd like to see more things like that considered for the player experience, because I mean, they sound dumb and they sound sort of goofy, But I do think these things keep people engaged. It's proven to keep people engaged. It's proven that this sort of thing is what you don't want to build a game or it's kind of boring. You have these sorts of lulls. People try to build games that are a little bit exciting for people to watch. And now, would this idea work? Would it not work? I don't really know. But I do think it's something very easy that sort of makes you as the consumer. And now Stars is going to fucking do this. I know they're going to do it. Now, I know Stars is, wait a second, this ain't a bad fucking idea. Okay, we can charge money. We can charge money for the, oh my God, I put this out to Stars. I already know what they're going to do. God damn it. It's okay, Stars. This is okay. You guys took the idea about working together with the Poker Stars guys. By the way, how fucking dumb was Amaya Game Maya Stars not to they have all these great poker names, these streamers. They never put these guys together until finally I didn't make a video. I said that. Now all of a sudden they're all working together way more. Thank God. Great fucking idea right there. They're doing more stuff with Lex Veldhouse. Great idea as well. I put that on Twitter. Doesn't make sense how they can have this kind of guy out there that they're not putting any sort of money and power into and advertising into and sort of getting him in positions to get his brand and himself out there and get his story out there. But kind of go back to the avatar thing. So I'm excited to see what the dynamic avatars are, what they look like, how they replace the HUD. So someone actually, finally we got a good fucking comment here. He said, what did he say? He said something about, but that's what competition is about. But that's what competition is all about. So I think he was referring to maybe the idea of competition in poker. And the competition in this sort of anonymous poker is different than other poker, but that's what competition is about. I think he would mean it in something like that. And yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think then it comes down to, do you want to have the poker, what poker means, be a completely different game than what poker has traditionally been? Because I really do think while anonymous is poker, I think it's not poker. I think it's different. It's a different version of the game. It's poker, but it's something else. If there's Omaha for Texas Hold'em, then it's poker and it's Jimmy's poker. It's something different. To me, it's just not the same. There's some of the same carryover in terms of strategies, but there are a lot of other strategies that I feel like you can implement that are going to work better. And then they might work at different tables. So I don't know, just kind of thoughts on that. And I don't know, kind of my own take on anonymity makes it much easier, JC says. Now, I would completely agree with that. And that is one thing that people have talked about, is that it does lower the skill cap, which may or may not be true. I think it does, because a lot of those higher skill level sort of the ways that you become one of the top players is a lot of understanding dynamics, understanding how someone's going to react, understanding how to take advantage of them, understanding, okay, when they reacted this way, the 35th time, how they do it the 65th time. That's what the great players do. The great heads up players, the great players that play six-handed, they play so many hands with these players that eventually, if they play against a super unbalanced regular player, this regular guy's never gonna win a big pot against a good regular, because his ranges are so telegraphed. And now once you play with that player a bunch, well, now you crushing this guy. This guy's never going to really beat you for the most part, unless it ends up being a cooler situation. But now when you have the anonymous factor, it sort of eliminates that right there. And what I think is that right there, I think that's just, that's one small thing that turns into a very big thing. And now that thing's removed. So I do think the anonymous does help to limit that skill cap, which is good or bad. I'm not really sure. Kind of depends on the way that you see it. But yeah, I don't know, man, good or bad for the game. I think it'll be good. We'll see what happens, right? If it sucks, it sucks. But I mean, we'll see. I'm definitely willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to embrace it. I'm willing to help put it out there. Hopefully the rake is a certain way. Hopefully there's no fucking chest on there. Hopefully there aren't Twitch streamers, salivating about opening up a goddamn chest for 2 cents. Like, hopefully I don't see that, but is what it is. Is what it is. But yeah, kind of looking about in poker world, in terms of content for myself, I don't know, man. I just don't see my world there, guys. I'm gonna be real with y'all. My world, Pot Omaha cash games coming up online, even Nolan Hold'em cash games out there. And I just don't see my world really out there anymore, guys. I see a lot of tournaments. I see a lot of tournaments. I see a lot of live tournaments being followed. I see a lot of online tournaments being followed. I see a lot of high rollers being put out there. And then once in a while, they work in a PLO cash game or something like that. But like, I don't really see my world existing online for players to really make it these days. It's still possible to make it, but not quite the same direct path as it was before. And I don't know, man. It's just feel like all people I know, all people I've been friends with for a long time, they're sort of now business people. They're sometimes business people in poker, but for the most part, they're business people. So a lot of their focuses has changed. A lot of their ways they're making money has changed. A lot of the ways that you discuss poker with them has changed. It's a lot different now. So yeah, man, I don't really know right now. It's just don't know how I feel about myself in poker right now and my own play, how much I plan to play. I think just right now online, guys, there's nowhere to play for the most part. You can play on the underground American sites, but man, I mean, who knows what's happening on these fucking sites now? And I've done so much research into all these sites on I've done so much research on these sites and how out of line some of these sites are. I've met some of the security people that work for these sites. I've met the owners of some of these skins who have some sort of, you're like the dumbest fucking people I've ever met in my entire life. And I have no idea how they can possibly be the security for a poker site. So my feeling on online poker right now, in terms of myself, is just like, it's not worth it for me to play when I can just probably do a lot of other things. It just doesn't make much sense, really. It really doesn't. And the idea of having to overcome all these different things right now, I think it's very possible, and I think I could. But the less that I play, the more that anything out of line these sites are doing is going to impact the win rate. Whereas when I'm zoned in and when I'm at the top of my game, well, then people can do things, and I've always been able to win no matter where I played. Is that true? Yeah, actually, it's true. Wait, there was that one. No, one site I wasn't able to win at. Fucking on game before I decided to crush that site and all the games left. But probably some fucking weird shit happening on those games too, to be honest with you. But what was I saying? Got distracted by that thought. But yeah, I just don't know, man. I don't see the world kind of I don't know. I just don't see the world how it is now. I was just so naive to a lot of this stuff. I knew a lot of stuff was going on, but I just didn't think about it much. You know, I didn't consider it. I was like, I'm not going to worry about the bots or the people colluding or anything like that. I think there's security. They're looking into it and stuff like that. But now that you kind of know the dirty secrets and you know how some of these people roll and how these sites operate, it's just like, you know, what's the point to go do that again? Do something I've already done a couple times in terms of go up, go down, go up, go down. It's just like, you know, it's very possible, but is my time better off doing other things in my life at this point in time and also still playing some of the great game because I love playing the great game. But in terms of dedicating my profession to that, I don't know, man. I really want to. It just doesn't really make much sense. You know, people talk about moving out the country, playing on Stars, playing on Party Poker, playing on those sites. And yeah, I mean, you can do that for right now, but how much longer is that going to last? And it's not really because Stars is too hard to beat. It's because I think I could go back on there and still be able to, if I consistently play, I'll be able to win. I think at most stakes up to 2, 5, 3, 6 on the entire internet, I'll be able to win if all I'm doing is playing Pot Live in Omaha. Like it's just, that's what's going to happen. That's what always happens. If I'm zoned in, that's what I'm doing, I'm going to be able to win. I might have to adjust my strategy. I might have to do the hardest bum hunting of all time. I might be super strict. I might be sitting people out. I might be getting out of line with some of the, I guess that's not sitting. I guess I might. I wouldn't grim anybody like that, but you might insta sit out when the fit. That's kind of standard, but you might take it a little bit far sometimes too. And there's, like I said, but there's a lot of things you can do, a lot of things you could take advantage of when it comes to just tightening up your table selection incredibly. And when you play on different sites where no one knows who you are, you can do some sitting where you set out third person. And you can do all sorts of things like that. Not necessarily saying they're good or bad or you should do them or not, because I'm sure some people out there are like, oh, that's my move. Or some people are like, I don't want to do the move. And you kind of stand wherever you want to stand. But the point is, if you need to be able to make money in that setting, those are the kind of things you can do and it's just, that's what's going to make you more money. It ain't going to make you, in terms of like your pride or your ego, it's probably going to do much for that. It's going to make you kind of feel some type of way about yourself. But in the moment when you're doing these strategies, it's going to make you a winning player. So the question is, all right, how long is this ecosystem going to last? It's only a matter of time before PokerStars says, boom, we're not going to make these games winnable anymore. It's only a matter of time before they do something in those games where maybe 3 players win, 10 players win, 20 players win, but they're going to do something where it's not getting much better on PokerStars. So I don't know. I think just the kind of the state of, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just kind of sad to see. You know, it's kind of sad to see. I don't know if it's ever going to come back. I don't know if anonymous poker is the answer. I guess just a segregated poker world is sort of what it'll be. And hopefully there'll be some high stakes games on Party Poker that are still promoted. There'll be some high stakes games on, on Run It Once Poker. Those are promoted as well too. And yeah, man, I don't know. Karen Meach says Run It Once needs Doug advertisement team. I've told Doug that Run It Once should team with Upswing Poker somehow. I'm telling you, if Run It Once had for the site had the marketing expertise that Upswing Poker has, it would be a dominant force and it would be every single where. Can you imagine if Doug had that site and just what he would do with that behind the scenes and in front of the scenes? So yeah, I mean, that's kind of another story for another time. But I think where I see the poker world going right now, guys, is just I see it going more to what it's gone to. Less focus on great players, more focus on, I guess, like you've always had some sort of focus on maybe the everyday man. And now the everyday man has turned into a vlogger. Like a vlogger is an everyday guy. It's a guy, he wakes up, he goes and play. I guess that's like, he's a very relatable person. That story is relatable for people out there who are watching at home. And I feel like now that you have your attention all these different places as a consumer, and you're consuming different content out there, you have your attention to video blogs, you have your attention to Twitch streams, you might have it to podcasts, you might have it to cash games on Live with the Bike or Poker Go. I think what's happening is all those platforms showcase players for the most part who aren't the best players, who aren't the greatest players in the entire world. A lot of these people are going to be sometimes good, sometimes winning, sometimes losing, sometimes supported by the audience, sometimes supported by sponsors, sometimes really great, sometimes fucking shit. So you're going to have, but I think for the most part, a lot of those players and a lot of these content that people are seeing, they're not really from the best players because it's hard to be one of the best players most of the times you're playing. So I think what's going to happen is that a lot of just what poker and sort of what people associate with poker is going to be not necessarily the great players, not looking up to these great players, not wanting to be like these great players first and foremost. I think that people will want to be like these streamers or like these video bloggers or like someone else that they see. And maybe like the idea of being this professional poker player and being a great poker player, it might be like secondary or third in their mind. But I think it's just going to shift overall for the most part. And I don't know how that's going to, what that's going to do to the poker world, how that's going to affect it. I don't really know exactly what's going to happen with that. I mean, we've always had tournament players in the tournament world be this big focal point of popularity for people, and it's the most relatable form of poker that consumers out there can watch and do themselves with their friends or with whatever. So, that's always going to be there. But in terms of the online ecosystem and the online cash game world, to me, that's always been such a big thing, something that I've loved. But yeah, I just don't see that existing anymore. So for me, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how I don't know if my enjoyment continues, if I want to keep doing things, if I want to sort of make videos on topics that I've had in my mind. And but yeah, let's talk about ACR. So ACR, guys, what happened? They got DDoSed again. They've been closing down their site because of potential overlay. I've seen all these rumors or seen all these things on there. People keep talking about they think I killed the site. Now, I hope not. I mean, that's not funny. First of all, did I want to kill this site? No, I wanted them to clean up their fucking act and get some security on their team. Get rid of the bots that they never got rid of. They got rid of a couple. They issued some random refunds. I've got a whole fucking theory on ACR, by the way. But it looks like now they're going through DDoS attack. I don't know what's going on. They're getting DDoS attack left and right. Now, some people are saying these might not be true DDoS attacks. Some people are saying that this could be a conspiracy theory to steal money from the players. Some people are saying that this is a thing where they don't want to pay the overlays, so they're having these issues happen or whatever. It makes sense. I kind of got distracted by what I was reading. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there for ACR and why they're. So as you guys know, ACR had a lot of the cheating. That I made a video about cheating on there. They came out with refunds. They refunded players. They potential super users on the site, which I'm still very convinced of. And a DDoS attack, guys, I don't fucking know what it is, to be honest with you. It's something where I don't exactly know. Let's just Google it. I don't know what a DDoS attack is. It's something that takes over the network or something and you can't operate on there. So ACR has been going through these DDoS attacks, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. People want to know my opinion. Listen, if you're still playing an ACR or WPN, you're a fucking idiot. And you're basically saying, take my money. That's what you're saying. And now we can debate if you're a fucking idiot or not. Maybe you're always going to lose no matter what. So you're not an idiot. You're just, this is whatever. But to me, when I played on there, I felt like a fucking idiot. I'm like, why would I, like if you're playing on this site, you're a degenerate, and that's fine. I'm a degenerate too. I'm not saying I'm not. You might even still be winning on there, and that's fine too. Congratulations to you. But when ACR does these things, they've shown they don't give a fuck about you guys. I want to let you know, and I want to walk this through. I want this to be a video, but I'm going to tell you why the ACR CEO, Phil Nagy, WPN CEO, Winning Poker Network, True Poker, all these skins. I want to tell you, or is it True Poker? Is that one of them? I don't want to say True Poker if it isn't. I do think it is though, but I don't want to. If True Poker isn't a skin of WPN, I don't want to. I believe it is, but if it isn't, we'll go through it. If it isn't, whatever. If it is, that's what I'm talking about. So here's what I think about Phil Nagy. So I've consumed every minute of footage of the WPN CEO Phil Nagy on the internet that I found. Everything I found, I've watched everything I've read everything he's put out. I've watched everything 3 times. I've read everything 3 times. I've talked with so many people behind the scenes who may or may not be in the company, who may not be associated with the company. I spent hours of my life talking about this fucking thing happening with ACR WPN to the point where I don't even want to think about it anymore, which is why I don't talk about it much anymore. So here is why I now think that Phil Nagy truly doesn't give a fuck about you, the player. And he's just doing whatever he can do, whatever it takes to continue to live his Costa Rican lifestyle that he's living, whatever he's doing down in Costa Rica. You know, I don't know, man. He's probably having a pretty goddamn good life down there. And to me, these are the big signs to me that I think sort of just show that he tries to do everything himself. And I think that he is great at some aspect of things, marketing being one of them. But in a video, he mentioned, oh, you know, we're one of the fastest growing sites. This is why we're doing things no one else is doing. Yes. If every other site allowed a mass number of bots to infiltrate all of their games, then maybe they would have that sort of growth too. That's where the growth came from. Cash games, PLO, Nolan Hold'em, sit and goes, tournaments. Though there are a lot of bots on this site. Some of these bots are confirmed. Some of these are not confirmed. Some of them are banned. These bots are on the site. This is confirmed fact. And they're all over the place. They prop up the entire ecosystem. So let's just get that out of the way. We can debate that if you want. To me, that's just not a debatable topic. This is one big thing they're doing. So then you start thinking about, all right, well, then how does that tell us Phil Nagy really doesn't give a fuck about us, the players? Now, I go back to the first thing that I said to Phil Nagy when I sent him a message on Skype. And I said, hey, you know, I'm going to put this video out there about all the shit happening on the site. I got proof. People sending me photos. I got proof, Phil. Let's fix this situation. You know, it took some 7 days. He's on a mountain, whatever. He can't get internet. I get it, man. Busy fucking guy. Okay, whatever. Woo, doesn't matter. Okay. Then he comes back. All right. Whatever. Is what it is. 6, 7 days. Fine. You know, to me, I took that as a sign of disrespect. And I'm like, well, this guy doesn't give a fuck. I'm not going to give a fuck about this. Let's make the video. Let's put this video out there. So then first thing he says, make the video. Why would you do this to me? It's not, let's catch these guys. It's not, how'd you figure this out? It's not, what can we do to stop these guys? It's not, let's clean this up. It's, why would you do this to me? Okay, these are things I've talked about before in the past. So I say that, I'm like, all right, like, you know, to me, it goes back to the me thing. Why would you do this to me? If you look at sort of how he handles himself and how he goes upon there talking about the site, it seems to me like he either has good intentions but doesn't know how to execute on these ideas, or he's very complicit in these activities that are happening on the site. So I think just when I watch this guy and when I watch how sort of this guy operates, right? He gives back, he tries to get back refunds, right? I'm looking out for the players. He just picks a random number generator. Who even knows how the fuck he figured out these refunds? I didn't get any refunds back. I played thousands of hands with these fucking bots. All right. I don't know. I don't get any money back, but I'm getting emails, messages from everywhere around they're getting these random small numbers back. Now, you're going to tell me that whatever fucking voodoo shit you decided to finally use, it took you a couple weeks to decide, all right, we need to refund these players these tiny number amounts. I find this ridiculous to believe. I find this ridiculous. They have the capability themselves to even understand how to accurately identify who gets what amount of money back. And I find it ridiculous that they gave such a small amount back, even though they gave some back. And I think why they gave that back is it kind of just shows that they're just really clicking fucking buttons. They're just saying like, refund the whole amount. We don't really know. Or are we going to get whatever? And then they just sort of click them. They're like, let's just do that figure. Let's get them off our back. Let's buy some goodwill. Let's put this narrative out there that, oh no, they're going to see this and they're going to think we really care about them when really we don't give a fuck. We just want to keep the operations moving. Because if they cared about the players, they wouldn't have this stuff happening in the first place. If they cared about the players, they would have refunded more of the money that was out there. So now I get back to that. So what would they have done if they cared about the players? They would have taken a lot of steps to ensure their ecosystem was on the up and up. Phil Nagy, all his videos, he has the website open on his screen. He's looking at this thing 24 hours a day. All right. What is he looking at? This is my point. How could you look at this be like, yeah, 4 Ukrainians here at this 5 cent, 10 cent table every day for the past 7 months? That seems normal. Like, no, what the fuck is going on? So clearly, okay, we have something there, right? And then we look at Phil, talks about he's a poker player first. He's playing the 5K cage. Now, do you really believe this guy, Phil Nagy, doesn't have an account on Winning Poker Network where he's playing high stakes? I don't. First of all, we know he has accounts on the site. Okay. If he said, I mean, that's crazy. He probably had to admit that at some point in time that he's played on this site. Okay. So now if Phil Nagy doesn't understand what then goes on in some of his other sites, which is kind of like, not necessarily the best segue there, but it kind of came to my mind, is that if you have this guy that doesn't understand what's happening with other skins and how other skins are letting more accounts register, or how another skin who also operates the software that the company runs on, what that skin's doing, what this creator's doing. If you want to let me believe that Phil Nagy can understand what then these guys are doing, and if they're cheating or if they're getting out of line, to me, I just don't believe how this is possible from all this other information that I've been provided. So it kind of just goes back to the idea of not giving a fuck about the players. And now we've established what some sites might do if they care about the players. They truly care about the players. They want to provide a great ecosystem. If they want to provide this, they want to provide that. So Phil said his most important thing is giving back money to the players. That is what he cares about the most. Now, why does he care about giving money back to the players? Because if he doesn't give money back to the players aren't going to come to the site. What is some of the bare minimum things I need to do to ensure that there will be players on my site? I need to make sure that they get money. All right. I don't need to make sure that the game's fucking fair. I just need to make sure that these guys get money. Okay. That's my big thing. If these guys keep getting money, I keep getting money. And now you look at all of his actions. You look at all of the words that he said. You look at the things that he's done, the things that he said. And to me, I just don't see how you get to the point where you feel anything else besides he doesn't give a fuck about you as players. So now it goes back to, how do I feel about ACR and the recent DDoS attacks? Well, once again, I think you're a fucking idiot if you're still playing on ACR. Now, of course, you have the right to vocalize this, to be upset about it, to demand answers. But what do you guys expect? These guys don't give a fuck about you. So they can do whatever they want. You're going to keep coming back. The only way you cannot keep coming back is you stop fucking coming back. You go play in Global Poker. You go play in Ignition. So that's what I got, man. That's what I got about that. And that's just what I think. I'm not saying Phil Nagy he's not a good businessman. I think he's a great businessman. I think he does great things. I think he's got great qualities to himself. I don't think it's unusual for a poker site to want to make money and care about that first and foremost above anything else. Amaya has shown that too. They don't give a fuck about players. They've shown that as well too. They care about taking all the money out your pocket into them, and that's fine. It's a fine business practice. A lot of people are respected for having that business practice, but you just got to admit sometimes you don't really care about the players, man. You care about them getting money, but you don't care about anything else. You don't care about giving them a fair shake. You don't care about then refunding them properly when you detect things. You don't care about knowing what's happening with exploits on your site until it gets in your face. That's what I got about that. And no, Winning Poker Network, no one paid me to say these things. No one paid me to make this fucking video. No one paid me to talk about this issue. The only thing that the reason I started talking about is because of those motherfucking super users on that site, and because of all those Eastern European bots, and because of the guy who sent me the message with the guy playing 2 accounts side by side on the monitor, and then you guys still letting the guy play. So, I mean, kind of is what it is. PMR Stout said in the chat, talk to Phil at LAC ICE after your thread started. Stay out there about an hour about their ops, discussing problems and how I could help them. Concluded with him saying that he will fly me down for days and I will look over their ops and give feedback on it all. was put in contact with a couple of their staff to arrange it all. A couple weeks after LAC ICE, I'm not sure what that actually is, they contacted me to finalize details. Seemed surprised that I wanted to be paid for it. Said they would get back to me. They never really did. I contacted them again a couple days ago, and they said they are working on other stuff and put this project, me going down, on hold. Sigh. I think that's a very good indicator, PMAR, of exactly how they think. Is that, oh, do we want to spend money on these things? No, fuck that. We want to spend money on a commercial on ESPN. We want to spend money on, I don't even know where else they're really promoting, but they've decided they want to spend money in these places, and to them, security or consulting or those sorts of things just aren't the things that are important to them. So that's fine. That is what it is. If they want to operate like that, that's cool. Could they make more a different way? Yes, I think so. But will they? You know, I don't really know, man. So is what it is, man. Is what it is. Say a couple questions in the chat, guys. We're fired up tonight. And I think that's all I want to talk about. Poker World, ACR. I am checking the chat, Josh Reese. I am checking the chat. And let me Butterfly Massacre, remove the bots and Phil Nagy knows the traffic will be small. I completely agree with you. I'm sure he doesn't want to do that because of that reason. Straight up, Ross says, I saw Joey in Vegas last year sweating in WSOP tournament, but was too shy to say hi. Listen, man, say what up. You can say hello to me, man. Say what's up to me. I might not talk. I might be a little weird. I'll probably talk to you anyway. But yeah, someone said thoughts on Jay Nandez. I got no thoughts, man. Guy's a hard worker. Guy's great at the great game of Pop in Omaha. But yeah, it's kind of where my thoughts stop on that particular subject, man. Let's see. Hesitant Magic says, you're right. Phil randomly picked refunds. I got back $5,000 back. Another WPN site refunded me and told me Phil doesn't. I think that's a big thing too, is that, yeah, I feel like they are picked refund. The refunds are picked randomly. What they care about is what they're going to care about. And yeah, man, I don't know, dude. Do you really believe that these guys aren't getting really out of line? I don't. Like, do you guys think they're not putting in a bunch of people in these big tournaments with some overlays, or like staking people on the site, a bunch of Phil Nagy's friends or friends of whoever? Like, do you guys really not think that's what's going on? That Phil's not playing on the site, that other people that work for the site aren't playing on the site? Like, no, that is going on. These things are happening. They're just randomly picking what to enforce, or picking where to. Yeah, you want to go play there, then go play. Like, it's just crazy that this is a site that we give sites the benefit of the doubt. We're not giving these guys the benefit of the doubt anymore. You know, they came out 2 weeks and admit things are going on. These things been going on for years. They didn't just start now. It's not like, oh, we ran back the clock a month. Like, these guys don't really care, man. So you gotta, anytime someone says, should I play an ECR? Send them this, man. I'm telling you, send them this. And then if you still want to go play, go fucking play. I got still money on there. I haven't cashed out yet. I got $500. You need it? Send it. I'll send it to you. Let me know. Like, let's run this. Let's make this happen. And I have so many people messaging me saying, I got more dirt. I got dirt from these people, like, work with someone. I mean, it's getting a little weird. All right. But I'm just like, do I really want to dig into this? Like, what's the point? What's the reason? You know, to me, I'm trying to stay away from it, man. It's just like, man, if these guys ain't going to get fixed, they're not going to get fixed. I don't want to obsess myself about it. You know, let them do what they're going to do. Let them make the money they're going to make or whatever. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't fucking know. Weird ass site. Jeremy says, you mentioned Ignition and Global. How are we not to believe that these things happen on ACR would not occur there? And that's a great question, Jeremy. And my answer to you is that while we have no reason to assume that's not happening, we do have no reason to assume that is happening. We've heard some rumblings about bots on Ignition. For sure, there's other things happening on there. But do we know that the company doesn't give a fuck about you? We don't know that yet. Do we know that their security is complete non-existent? No, we don't know that. We don't know that yet about these sites. So we give these sites the benefit of the doubt until we're shown otherwise, or until our play patterns, what we observe in the ecosystem, until those things tell us otherwise. Then we can stop. Okay, we don't care then. Or, okay, it is, or not sorry, we don't care, but it's, oh no, nothing's going on, or oh, something is going on. We don't know what's happening on there. From what I see on Global Poker, that's a different world of Pop in Omaha. From what I see on Ignition, it's a different world of Pop in Omaha. Are these things happening on there? I don't really know. I'm sure they are to some extent. Do we have to rely on security there to hopefully detect this stuff? We do. Do we know if they're doing that? We don't know right now. But on ACR, we do know for sure. So, and in terms of cash games, it's a night and day, man. It's a different story. It's like it's another planet of games. So yeah. Jonathan Lewis. Hello, Joey. Enjoy the content. You do a good job. Will you be doing a part 2 of the big game, Leon and Kirk and PLO? I will be doing a part 2 of the big game tomorrow, Jonathan Lewis. I'm also having a young woman on the podcast named Maria Konnikova. She's a New York Times best-selling author who went to work with Eric Seidel on a book, and then he started coaching her to play tournaments. Now she started beasting tournaments. She quit her job. She's playing poker tournaments full-time. She's got like a master's in something with psychology. She seems like she's some sort of psychological genius, and she's half Russian too. So, those half Russian, half American people are some sort of secret agent spy geniuses, at least the ones that I've met. But so I'm excited to have her on, kind of get her story, talk to her more about that. And we do have some other podcasts lined up too. I have like 100. It's a matter of deciding, kind of do them. So I haven't been really motivated motivate's the wrong word, but I just haven't been jonesing to create some podcasts with certain people. So we got my guy Gil Acuna in the chat. What up, big puppy? What's happening, brother, man? What's happening, brother? I'm enjoying the Instagram post as always, man. Looks like you and the fam are going well, my friend. Hope things are going well with the plumbing business. My man, Gil the plumber, man. Big shout out to Gil, man. Got a lot of love for Gil. Always working hard with that nice watch, putting his photos up there. So as the master says, do you think with all the DDoS attacks, ACR will shut down in the future if it's way too much headaches and so much bad negative feedback on the stuff? I don't really know, heads of the master. No one knows, man. I can't speculate to know exactly what ACR is going to be doing or what they're not going to be doing. So I don't really know, man. I don't really know. Air Eliminator says technology is not working for humans in general anymore. It's used by people to get rich. Live poker the only way to go until they manage to fuck that up. And yeah, that's kind of a something topic to think about, is that technology is getting rapidly more and more advanced. And when you start really looking into how businesses operate in poker and other poker, you start to realize, or outside of poker rather, you start to realize how much goddamn like out of line activity there is. And obviously I'm out of line, Joey. I've lived out of line in my life. I'm trying to live an inline life right now. The temptation to be out of line in a variety of different ways is always very strong. And sometimes I succumb to that temptation when it comes to different things like that. For the most part, I'm trying to be in line. And when you look at how some of these businesses work, how the inner workings work, and all these things like that, and you're like, damn, this is some fucked up shit going on in these countries, with these governments in the world and these different things. It's just like, man, there's some kind of makes you just want to get out the world entirely and move to the mountains and start. I don't know what you do out there. I don't know, man. But yeah, it's just kind of very disheartening, very a new world to me. I've never really paid much attention to until recently. And definitely has me feeling more negative about poker and about the world in general than it has positive in the past. So yeah. But yeah, I'll say one more question, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. Tom Dwan podcast. Who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe one day. Someone said I've been balking. I have a workout prop bet. I need to work out or do physical activity every single day until the World Series of Poker. It's about like a month and a half now. And yeah, so we're putting on size. We're eating a lot of food. We're almost up to 205 for our first time ever here. I'm going to try to get up a little bit higher and then cut down. And but yeah, man, that's what I got, guys. Let me know your thoughts on things in the chat. If you like, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what you like. And yeah, this week we got the PLO show tomorrow with going over Aussie Matt loosely on that 400, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000 game or whatever. Go over that tomorrow. Podcast on Tuesday with Maria Konnikova and Russian name. I got to make sure I say it right. And yeah, and then a couple other ones on Wednesday and Thursday. Not sure what we'll put out there yet, but yeah, man, that's what I got, guys. Listen, if any of you guys are out for the World Series of Poker, make sure you guys hit me up. If you see me, just give me a fucking hug, man. My guy Gil in the chat, you the man, brother. Much love to my man Gil, man. You ever need some plumbing going down out there, hit up my man Gil. My man Gil's a master plumber. Any plumbing questions, hit him up, let him know. Last question, Drew O'Connell. Joey, I'm about to graduate in a couple weeks. I'm considering playing live, no one home for a couple months. You think it's a decent idea as someone who's obsessed with poker? I think that if you believe in yourself, if you're a winning player, if you want to be a winning player, if you have the money to do it, if you have the love of doing it or playing it, give it a chance. If you hate it, you can always fucking quit. So that's what I got, guys. Much love, everybody. Peace out. Adios. Take care. And my man Thomas in the chat. What up, big puppy?